Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 5:30.
We begin tonight with breaking news. School leaders have confirmed with Valley News Live that a student was injured a little over an hour ago at Carl Ben Eielson Middle School while trying to get on a bus. That's where we find Valley News team's Courtney Lockie now with a live report. Courtney, what can you tell us?
Andrea, the call came in around 3:30 this evening for a report that a student had been run over by a bus. Anne Marie Campbell with the district tells us that emergency crews were in fact called here to the school and that the student was injured while they were trying to get onto the bus. Campbell also said, quote, the bus made contact with the student's foot/ankle. Our photographer on the scene at the time tells us that that student was loaded up into the back of an ambulance and taken to the hospital, but was alert and conscious. We'll continue to bring you more information as we get updated. But for now, reporting live in Fargo, Courtney Lockie, Valley News Live.
All right, thank you, Courtney, for that live report. More breaking news for you. We're learning new details tonight about the Clearwater County Sheriff's deputy who was arrested for sex crimes against children. According to court records, 31-year-old Neil Dolan is charged with first-degree criminal sexual conduct as well as third-degree criminal sexual conduct. Both are felonies. The complaint was filed on November 19th with the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension concerning the behavior of a deputy toward a child. A BCA agent interviewed the 15-year-old who told the investigator that on the last day of school in 2017, Officer Dolan engaged in sexual penetration with the victim. If convicted, Dolan could spend 45 years in prison. New information for you now on an armed robbery that happened last night. Fargo police say they have arrested a 32-year-old man in that case. Police say Justin Borseth was arrested less than an hour after the robbery that happened at Herbert and Gerbert's on 25th Street and 30th Avenue South in Fargo. Police say after they got a very good description of Borseth, they were able to find a taxi he was believed to be in. Officers spoke with the taxi driver, who stated he had just picked up his passenger, identified as Borseth. Borseth was later arrested for armed robbery and several unrelated warrants. The Kittson County Sheriff's Office is asking for your help in finding a missing man. A picture of him is coming up on your screen soon. This is 28-year-old Travis Lee Stromgren of Gatsky, Minnesota. Deputies say Stromgren was last seen leaving a house in Carlstead in the early morning hours of October 15th. He was wearing a gray hooded sweatshirt, blue jeans, and shoes at the time. If you know where he might be, you're asked to call the Kittson County Sheriff's Office at this phone number, 218-843-3535. The flakes are flying. They have been all day, but they're not amounting to much, which is pretty good, I think. Let's find out how cold it'll be this evening. Here's Nathan with your no-wait weather. Nathan?
Yeah, Andrea, it's going to be a chilly one tonight, especially in those areas that have already seen some of that clear sky pushing in as we speak. But we saw the snowfall yesterday and overnight last night. Here's a look at some of those snow reports we've gotten from official and co-op observers. The big winner is Lakota there, 8 inches, followed closely by Edinburgh at 7.8 inches. Michigan picked up 7. And then Grand Forks picked up 2 inches of that white stuff, but the liquid equivalent of that snowfall has actually broken Grand Forks' annual precipitation record. So in 2016, Grand Forks picked up 31.27 inches of liquid precipitation, but this year already picked up just under 31.5 inches. And there's still a month and some days to go in the year where we can add to those numbers there. So just really showing how soggy things have been in Grand Forks all year long. A look around shows some clear sky in Devil's Lake and Cavalier. You can see some of the sunshine there, but lots of that snow, that fresh snow on the ground across the northern valley, and that fresh snow will attribute to some of these colder temperatures. As we were saying, some clear sky out toward the Devil's Lake, Jamestown, Ellendale areas, and we'll talk, of course, about just exactly what those temperatures will be at the bus stop tomorrow and look ahead to a much more pleasant, you could say, Andrea, forecast for the weekend ahead.
All right. Thanks, Nathan.
You bet.
A parent says she's upset by the outcome of a Fargo Public Schools investigation after a teacher who allegedly hit her son was cleared of wrongdoing. Fargo Public Schools says the teacher will be reinstated tomorrow. The incident happened last Tuesday at Centennial Elementary, and it involved a 3-year-old boy in the early childhood special education program. Fargo Schools says the allegation was unsubstantiated. Another staff member first reported the incident, but it wasn't caught on security camera footage. Tune in to Valley News Live at 6 for an exclusive interview with that parent. A 15-year-old boy is now in jail in connection with the murder of a 19-year-old man in Cass Lake, Minnesota. The sheriff's department says the victim is 19-year-old Brandon Morgan Jr. of Cass Lake. The 15-year-old boy was arrested and formal charges are pending. Authorities found Morgan's body at a home in Cass Lake on Monday. An investigation ruled the cause of death as homicide. However, an autopsy is underway to figure out how Morgan died. No other information is being released. Authorities have arrested 3 people after a high-speed pursuit in Becker County. Authorities say it happened early yesterday morning after they got a call of people shoplifting from Seven Sisters Spirits near Detroit Lakes. Deputies tried to pull over the vehicle, but it took off, going 90 miles an hour at one point. Eventually, the people ditched the car and tried to run, but a police dog found them. Authorities also found meth in the car, which was reported stolen. 28-year-old Casey Adam of Moorhead and 33-year-old Danielle Abendano of Detroit Lakes were arrested, along with 2 other people. One of the passengers was released. The other was not identified. With impeachment hearings dominating the headlines in Washington, the Democrats who want to be the next president focused on those proceedings last night on the debate stage in Atlanta. Danya Bacchus has the story from Atlanta.
Democrats quickly addressed impeachment and took aim at President Trump during their 5th debate last night.
We have a criminal living in the White House.
We have a president who is not only a pathological liar, he is likely the most corrupt president in the modern history of America.
Government-run health care was also front and center.
Let's bring as many people in and get as much help to the American people as we can, as fast as we can.
It couldn't pass the United States Senate right now with Democrats. It couldn't pass the House.
The 10 candidates all tried to focus on their strengths. Mayor Pete Buttigieg argued he has the right experience to take on President Trump.
I get that it's not traditional establishment Washington experience, but I would argue we need something very different right now.
Former Vice President Joe Biden remained a popular target.
This week I hear him literally say that I don't think we should legalize marijuana. I thought you might have been high when you said it.
Biden highlighted his support among black voters, but stumbled.
They know who I am. 3 former chairs of the Black Caucus. The only African-American woman that ever been elected to the United States Senate. A whole range of people.
No,
my point is
that's not true. The other one is here.
I said the first. I said the first African-American elected.
He's always had these gaps. I mean, this is nothing new. I mean, and I don't think it hurts him.
Another Democratic presidential debate will be held in Los Angeles on December 19th. Danya Bacchus, CBS News, Atlanta.
The latest CBS News Battleground Tracker poll has Buttigieg surging in Iowa, where caucuses are now less than 3 months away. Joe Biden says the House impeachment hearings demonstrate that both President Trump and Vladimir Putin fear him as a political opponent. Biden spoke about the hearings during a news conference held a day after the Democratic presidential debate. He blasted President Trump for what Biden calls witness intimidation, and he warned that Russia is interfering in America's elections and targeting his own campaign right now.
This is ridiculous. They are engaging in our elections now. They are trying to change the whole structure of our elections. They are engaged in trying to actually manipulate who's on the ballot and who is registered to vote.
Multiple witnesses have testified that President Trump wanted Ukraine's president to commit to investigating a Ukrainian gas company where Biden's son Hunter served as a director.
We've been in this same system for over 100 years, and our outside world is forever changing. Technology is changing, but school has not changed.
Northern Cass is throwing out the old playbook when it comes to education. The school district is done with traditional grade levels and instead is pioneering what it calls personalized learning. Valley News Team's education reporter Veronica Marshall looks into the changes that have come along with the new system and some of the potential drawbacks as well.
I was bored a lot in school and I loved coming because I loved learning it all, but I just learned it so much faster that I would get stopped. I'd have to wait.
Jenna's story is one that has been shared by students year after year, and her teachers knew it. But for some of her peers, it was the exact opposite. And so Northern Cass decided it was time to change.
Now in this room, you won't find third graders working on third grade English. You'll find a mix of students of all ages, but who have the same abilities and coursework needs.
It's called personalized learning. And this is the first year the school district is rolling it out for every single student.
Now it's, well, if they can prove their proficiency, why are we going to make them sit in a class that they can already prove to us they know that content or understand that?
Students say it's a refreshing change that supports them and challenges them at the same time.
I no longer feel like if you're ever struggling in a topic, you no longer feel like you're the only one behind.
One of the more positive things is that there may be like stress inducing from like taking harder classes and like challenging yourself, but it's also less stressful because I have not worried about my grades all year.
But the system does have some potential drawbacks. Development experts say it's such a new concept that there isn't a lot of long-term research on its effectiveness. It could also hurt students' self-esteem, but Northern Cass staff say they haven't seen that happen yet.
If a child is working through the curriculum at a much slower pace than the child's peers, that could be somewhat detrimental to their self-esteem.
I haven't seen like a struggle with it or kids like ashamed that they're with a different group, and I think that's just due to our culture and due to the relationships that we value at our school.
As for Jenna, she's settled into the new system and says it's allowed her to reach higher than ever before.
I figured at the end of this school year I will have at least 5 college classes done, and I'm only a junior. And so to me that's insane, and there's no stopping. I just keep going.
In Cass County, Veronica Marshall, Valley News Live.
Northern Cass is the first school district in North Dakota to fully implement the personalized learning approach. But West Fargo and Oaks school districts are also piloting the program on a smaller scale. Don't forget to join us for the Farmers Union Insurance Bison Football pregame show this Saturday at 1. We'll take you right up to kickoff at 2 on the KVLY and KFYR Bison Football Network. We've all been late for work.